Morning, Mary.
Morning.
Morning. How are you?
Not so bad. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Morning.
Morning, Leslie. Oh, we can hear you, Leslie. We can't see you.
Not so bad. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Morning, Leslie. Oh, we can hear you, Leslie. We can't see you. Yeah, good, thank you. Okay, so I believe I've got Leslie and Mary and I'm live on Facebook. Looks like I've got 2 people watching. I'm just trying to find out whether how I can be seen on the 2 cameras. Let's see. My Facebook Live is slightly behind me. It's a few seconds behind, so I'm just going to wait for myself to catch up with myself. Yeah, that'll be okay, won't it? We could do with coming up a little bit, couldn't we? There we go. So we'll get started in about 10 minutes. So I'll just wait for the rest of the class to check in, and hopefully we'll have a few more people coming through to the live feed. Class starts at 15:15, guys, so those of you that are on the live Facebook feed, feel free to get your stuff together, get your mat together, all that malarkey, and get ready to do some Pilates. I wonder if I can see who's on the live one.
Can you hear me?
Leslie, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh.
I don't know. It says your camera's not switched on. But
I can't find the button.
Ask to start video. There should be a picture of a camera on there. There it is. Yeah, nice one. Yay! Hello.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Hello, Gwen. Yes, we're back to England now with the overcast weather.
Did you enjoy your holiday?
I did, yes. It was roughly the same temperature as Madeira, which was lovely.
Yeah, it's been really nice, hasn't it?
Morning,
folks.
Morning, Gwen.
Was it fun last week then, Emma?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, we even got our swimming costumes on and sunbathed in the garden, so...
At least you had a decent day for it.
I know. It's been lovely, hasn't it? And then the wind comes in last night and it all changes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was actually doing my Pilates out on the patio the other day.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it was like I couldn't actually hear you or see you on the iPad at the end. Never mind.
No.
During the class, you keep moving around for me because I keep moving the iPad wherever I can see you.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Otherwise, I can't see what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. Because normally I move around, don't I?
Do you? Oh, yeah, do a bit, yeah. But
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello, Jill. There's Jill. She's connecting to her audio.
Right. Music.
That's it. Morning, Jill.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thanks.
Good.
You're waiting.
Yay, that's good. So I'm just going to check on my Facebook Live. I don't quite know what I'm doing with that Oh, I know why I can't see who's coming up, because I've got the camera around the other way and it only tells me on my phone who I've got, I think.
What, on Facebook?
Yeah, so I've got the Facebook Live on, but it's not telling me who. Oh, hello, I've just lost myself. I've just lost my Facebook Live. Oh, here we go. Hopefully. I'm not very good at this computer, look.
I know what you mean.
It's all a bit daunting.
I know.
I'm not very good at this computer, look. Oh,
I know what you mean.
it's all a bit daunting. Here we go, let's switch that off. And I'll just see, yay, I have got some people watching, good. Yeah, it's not coming up on my computer, but I'm trying to use the better screen on my phone, so I can only see who is watching. I can't see any comments that anyone's making, but hopefully I'll be able to see those afterwards. Who knows? So yeah, we'll get going in about 5 minutes. I think we've got a few more people, hopefully, that are going to switch in and connect in. I've got Janet on Facebook Live, so that's great. Hello, Janet. I've got you 4 guys on Zoom. I'm thinking there might be a few others that are going to connect in a few minutes.
I was surprised you were doing it today. I didn't realise you were doing it today.
Yeah, I kind of thought it would be good to keep the continuity up as much as we could. Obviously, normally when being in the hall, we would just stick to normal term time. But I kind of felt like with everyone being in their own homes and being isolated, the more we can connect in together, the better. So that's why I thought if we can keep it going over the Easter.
Did you get my money? I transferred it for the first time this time.
Oh, did you? When did you do that?
Last week.
Oh, okay. I'll have a little look through. I've had quite a lot of emails with people telling me they've checked in, and I've just got to go through the bank statement.
Emailed you to tell you, I suppose.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'll go through my bank account probably today, and then just check off all the people that have paid.
I've done it before. But it's very easy, isn't it? Really?
Yes, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Emma, it just came to my attention that mine might show as a different name.
I think you've paid online before, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, but it's...
Yeah.
I just paid somebody else online, and they couldn't find me because it didn't come up under my surname now. It came up under my previous one.
I think that's right.
Now, as I've told the bank 15 years ago, I changed my name, but never mind. As long as you realise it's me, then that's
Yeah, I'll have a look. If there's one that I'm a bit confused about, I'll give you a message. But I've got a feeling that before I saw it in there and thought, oh, that's odd. Who's that? And then eventually I worked it out by going through the register. Yeah.
I hadn't realised it was doing that. So.
Yeah. Emma, when you put it in, it says that's not the title of your bank account.
Yeah, I know. I tried yesterday, but I'm going to wait till this all blows over, and then I need to change it. Because do you remember way back when I was called Fitcom?
No.
No. So it used to be, the company name used to be Fitcom, which was a shortening of fitness in the community.
Yeah.
And then and that's when I had the bank account, and then I changed it because lots of people said to me it sounded like a computer company, so I changed it to Pilates in Uphill, but didn't ever change it with the bank because I didn't think I needed to, and it's only recently that Mary in fact said that it came up as that's not the right title of the account, so yeah, I will need to contact them and get that changed. Yeah. Yeah, I'll contact them and let them know.
So what should I put in?
You can put in it as Fitcom. If you put it in as my name, it should come up. But apparently, if you do say, "Oh, it's Fitcom," then they will
Yeah, they'll take the money.
They'll take my money. Yeah, take the money.
It's all right. They just say, "Oh, this isn't the name. Is that all right to continue?" And you say yes. And
Yeah. So if it comes, if you put Fitcom on, they'll be more happy with us all.
All right.
Okay, let's just check we haven't got anyone else waiting to come on. Oh, I've got a couple of people. Caroline's there, Rachel's there. And another, yay, we're all there. Hi, Caroline.
Right.
Yay, got you. I can hear you as well.
No. Right. Okay. Fine. That's okay.
There she is. There's Lindsay. There's Rachel. Marvellous. Gang's all in.
Margaret's just about to log on.
She is. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Yay! We're all here. And I've got my Facebook Livers. I'm just going to readjust my screens to make sure I can see what we're doing. I think I've got 4 people watching on Facebook, so that's all good. Oh no, someone's bored of me already. They've switched off. Caroline. Yes, Caroline?
I think the problem was there was a few of us sitting in your waiting room, so I'd gone onto Facebook Live.
Ah, okay. So I won't be offended that you've come off of that one. That's cool. There's Margaret. Well, actually, it's just the ghost of Margaret because we can only see her outfit. Oh, no, there you are in real time. Marvellous. I thought you were just going to put your... Morning! Morning, Rachel. Morning, Margaret. Okie dokie. Let's get ourselves moving then, guys. So good to be back. Woo! Okay. We'll get ourselves moving. I'm just going to close the doors now. The cat's definitely decided she doesn't want to come in. Okie dokie. Now, let's make sure that you can see me. I'll just do that. And then, hopefully, you guys will be able to see me as well. So welcome, everyone. Let's get ourselves moving. Getting ourselves into our bodies. We've had a week away, although some of you have been watching the videos, which is marvellous. So you've all been still getting moving while I've just been lazing around my garden in my swim costumes. So we'll get ourselves moving and see if we can allow ourselves to find that central focus, that core strengthening work, find a nice sense of breath and flow. As always, if there's anything that we do that you think, oh, that doesn't feel very nice, then we can rest out and we'll find an alternative. So let's allow ourselves to start by focusing in on really good posture and a nice sense of breath. So bringing those feet just underneath your hips. And allow the breath to come and go nice and gently. And if you want to there, just allow the eyes to close so we can allow your breath to come and go nice and gently. And as we breathe nice and gently, we'll just start to focus in on our body, finding that internal focus. And let's allow ourselves to gently transfer a little bit of weight over the front of our feet. And then we'll transfer a little bit of weight into the back of our feet. Oh, I've got a couple more people waiting. Hold on. They're coming in. That's good. Yay! So just gently allowing yourself to come into your breath. There's Irene coming in. Allowing our weight to gently descend over the front of the feet and into the back of the feet. Taking it through those two extremes. And we'll find that place where our weight is right in the centre of the 2 feet. There she is. There's Becky.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Irene.
All right, good. I'm off and running.
Good, good.
I had to go get my glasses on to see what it said.
So allowing our feet to come underneath the hips. Just finding that sense of the weight being in the whole of the foot. Finding a sense of softness into the ankles, into the knees, and into the hips. Just allowing the pelvis to gently tip forwards and gently tip back. Imagining that the pelvis is a bucket of water filled to the top, just gently rocking forwards, gently rocking back. And then we'll find that place where the pelvis is nice and level. So not tipping out the front, not tipping out the back. And then when you find that place, allow yourself to gently connect into those core muscles. So we're going to allow ourselves to think about lifting gently up through the pelvic floor. Maybe drawing in through those deep abdominal muscles. Allow the head to float up towards the space above us. So we've got length all the way from the tailbone up through the top of the head. So from there, let's allow ourselves to zone in on our shoulders. We're lifting the shoulders, roll the shoulders gently back and down. And again, the shoulders gently lift and roll back and down. Keep that going for me. Gently rolling the shoulders back and down. Good, lovely. And from there, with the shoulders gliding gently down the back, we're going to take a nice deep breath in and allow the right arm to float forwards and up. Breathing in as the arm floats back down and then changing over to the other side. Lovely, let's keep that going. Right arm floats forwards and up and softening down, changing over to the other side. Good. And then as one arm floats up, let's allow the other arm to float down. So they're changing over, kind of crisscrossing each other. Lovely. Finishing off there, and we'll allow our arms to rest down by our sides. With that softness in the knees, take a deep breath and allow the right ear to dip down towards the right shoulder. And bringing the head into the centre, tip the head over to the opposite side. And again, up and over to the right side. And up and over to the second side. And then we'll bring the head into the centre. Let's allow the head to gently rotate round to the right side. And then coming back to the centre, rotating round to the opposite side. And once again coming into the centre. Do that for me once again on each side. And then as you come into the centre, we're just going to tuck the chin in slightly. Let the head become nice and heavy. Allow yourself to really enjoy that sense of length across the back of the neck. We're going to draw in through the deep abdominal muscles, take a breath, and we'll allow ourselves to roll gently down through the spine. So let the head become nice and heavy, starting to roll down through the vertebrae. Nice deep breath at the bottom, and then breathing out as we roll up through the spine. We're going to do that a few times so that we can really start to warm through the spine. Take a deep breath at the top, and breathing out as we release through the top of the head. Rolling gently down through the spine, rolling down through the vertebrae. Nice deep breath at the bottom and rolling up through the spine. Let's add a little shoulder roll and allow both the arms to float forwards and up. Breath in as the arms float back down. Again, we release through the top of the head, rolling down through the spine, coming down through the vertebrae bit by bit, piece by piece. Take a nice deep breath at the bottom and breathing out as we come up through the spine. Lifting the shoulders, roll the shoulders back and down, both arms float forwards and up. Let's do that again. Floating the arms down, release through the top of the head, rolling down through the spine bit by bit, piece by piece. There's a little bit of softening in the knees, more if there's any tension in the back or the backs of the legs. Rolling up through the spine. Lifting the shoulders, roll them back and down. Let both arms float forwards and up. Breath in as the arms float back down, and then we'll take our side bends from there. Up and over to the right side, extending up and away. Coming up and over to the second side. Absolutely. Adding the arms in if you want to, so the top arm can lift up and over. And coming through the centre, other arm comes up and over. Lovely. Good. Keeping that going for me. Lovely. Keeping that sense of length through the spine, all the way from the top of the head down to the tailbone, which is descending towards the space between the heels. Let's come through to the centre. We'll draw the fingertips together, let the shoulders glide down the back. With that connection through those core muscles, we'll let the rib cage gently rotate round to the right side. And we're breathing in as we return back to the centre. And then we'll rotate round to the opposite side. Coming back into the centre, gently rotating round. Good. So remember, with these spine twists, we want to keep the hips pointing forwards. We want to keep the hips nice and still. Notice if there's any rotation through the pelvis. Maybe even give the knees a little bit of softness so they're not locking back, and that makes it, you can really feel the core working to keep the pelvis nice and still. Lovely. One more on each side, and then we'll combine all those three movements. So we're coming to the centre, release the arms, roll down through the spine, coming down through the vertebrae. Taking a breath at the bottom and breathing out as we roll up through the spine. As the head comes on top, we lift the shoulders, roll the shoulders back and down, arms float forwards and up. Floating the arms back down. Now from there, take a little bend of the knees for me, arms open out to the side. And lengthening the legs up and over to the right side, extending up and over. And through the centre, up and over to the other side, straight into your spine rotation. We'll bring the fingertips together, let's rotate round. Pelvis stays nice and still. Coming into the centre and again rolling down through the spine. So we're just doing one of each as we get there. Rolling up through the spine. Head comes on top, we lift the shoulders, roll the shoulders back and down. Both arms lengthen forwards and up. Breath in as we float back down. Softening through the knees, arms open out to the side. And lengthening the legs up and over to the right side. Here's what I fancy doing. We extend up and over, come through the centre, rotation round. Coming back into the centre, up and over to the opposite side. And coming into the centre, rotation back the other way. That's it, nice. Let's do that again, rolling through the spine. Head comes on top, lift the shoulders, roll the shoulders back and down. Arms float forwards and up. This is our last time through, bending through the knees, take the arms out to the side. Lengthening the legs, we're coming up and over to the right side. And rotating gently round, soften through the knees, keep the pelvis nice and still. As you come back to the centre, we're lengthening up and over to the opposite side. Yeah, nice, good. And then rotating round. Coming into the centre, let's allow the arms to release down by our sides, and we'll take a little lift through the foot. So we'll allow the right foot to lift away from the floor. Lovely, and floating that foot down, changing over to the opposite side. Allow the foot to lift. And floating down, lovely, yeah, nice. We allow that leg to lift and the knee's going to open out to the side. Lovely, good. Keep that going for me. Now let's just place our hands on our hips. So as the knee opens out to the side, the hips don't move with us. So we're going to use the core to keep the pelvis nice and still. And you're just thinking about that ball and socket joint in the pelvis that's going to just leave her like a, well, more like a door on a hinge, really. Lovely. Let's do the same thing on the right side here, and then we're going to allow the leg to come across us. So we'll take that right leg right across the body, and we'll lengthen really nice and tall. Take a deep breath now, just soften at the knees so we're not locking. Right arm comes up and over, left fingertips slide down the side of the leg. And coming through the centre without falling over, up and over to the opposite side. Marvellous. Balance is marvellous today, guys. Coming through to the centre. Now, soften into the knees. Let's take a little roll down through the spine. So strong through the core, really connecting into those core muscles. Those of us that are hypermobile through our joints, do bend the knees a little bit. Don't lock back into the knees. And then we're releasing gently forwards. Some of us will feel this quite intensely in the hamstrings. Others of us will feel it more intensely down the side. I vote it's all good. We squeeze in through the tummy and we'll roll back up through the spine. And from there, let's change over legs. So we'll allow the left leg to lift and we'll bring it across us. As if we really, really need the toilet. Nice deep breath, shoulders gliding down the back. Arm lifts up. We come over for a nice side bend. Let the right fingertips really reach down the side of the body. So you've got reaching up with one arm, reaching down with the other arm. Take a breath, lift up. And over to the opposite side. Keep those fingertips reaching, shoulder gliding down the back. Gorgeous. Yeah, nice. Coming through the centre, strengthening through the core as we roll down. Let's check we're not locking into the knees. Head is nice and heavy. Rolling, rolling through the spine. Whoa, one more nice deep breath. And then we'll roll up to standing. And we'll bring our feet just underneath our hips once again and allow those toes to point forwards. Let's take a little bit of rise work, but what I think we'll do is we'll come round to the side of the camera so that we can come down onto the mat. So I'm coming round to the side. I'm going to take a little rise to start off with. You can either be on the mat or off the mat. If you're on the mat, it'll make it more wobbly, which is kind of marvellous. So we'll take a nice deep breath in and we'll allow the heels to lift away from the floor and then floating down. Lovely. Yeah, good. So we'll allow ourselves to really engage in through those core muscles. Let's take a moment to think about pushing into the big toe as we lift the heels. And just one more like that. Good. Well done, guys. Good. Release through the top of the head, softening into the knees. We're going to roll down through the spine. Now we're going to take two like this, where we're going to walk the hands gently forwards and take a push-up. You can either have your knees on the ground or you can go for a full push-up if you're feeling adventurous today. Hands wider than the shoulders, strengthening through the core muscles. Chest lowers to the space between the hands. We breathe out as we push up and away. Walking the hands in and we roll up through the spine. Softness through the head, rolling through the vertebrae. We'll take that rise when we get there, pushing into the big toes, heels in lower, rolling down through the spine once again, coming down through the vertebrae bit by bit, piece by piece, walking the hands gently forwards, taking the hands nice and wide at the shoulders. If you want to bring tuck the toes under, lift the knees, it's all good. Walking the hands in, rolling up through the spine. Once again, coming to that place where we'll take our rise. And this time rolling all the way down through the spine. We'll bring ourselves, we'll do a push-up, and then we'll allow ourselves to sit back onto our heels in a child's pose. Head is nice and heavy. Walking the hands gently forwards. Taking the hands wide. Chest lowers. Breathing out as we push up and away. Lowering the knees. Sit back onto the heels, and we'll lengthen the arms in front of us. Nice and deep with the breath there. So taking a nice gentle breath, we're going to allow the hands to just walk over to the right side, and we'll allow ourselves to stretch through the left hand. As you lengthen through the left hand, pull yourself back through the left hip. Is that right? Yeah. So you've got a nice sense of stretch up through the outside of the body. Nice deep breath, and we'll walk the hands around. We'll reach across ourselves with the right arm, and we'll pull back through the right hip. So reaching across. And then bringing the hands back into the centre. We'll let the shoulders melt down the back as the head becomes nice and heavy. And then we've got our hands just shoulder width apart here. So we're going to connect into those core muscles, feel a real sense of connection right now. And then we'll bring our weight forwards, hands come underneath the shoulders. Nice, good. Now, we're going to aim to have a nice long line from our knees to our hips to our shoulders. As you're there, just take a moment to really glide the shoulders down the back. See if you can get the head to extend out and away. So we're in our modified plank, working on our knees, strengthening through the core. If you're feeling ambitious, we tuck the toes under at this point and we lift the knees. So we're going to allow the knees, hips, shoulders to be in line. I don't want anyone to be dropping their pelvis downwards. That'll put strain in the lower back. We're going to see if we can be in a nice long line. Slight cheat is if we lift our bottom high. It's not the end of the world, but I want you to see if you can be in a nice long line all the way along from the shoulders to the heels. Woo! One more breath. Lowering the knees and releasing there. Let's float ourselves down to the floor. We'll take the elbows wide. We'll let the fingers point forwards. Let's allow our ear to rest down onto the floor. And take a nice moment there to just allow yourself to really release down into the ground. Let yourself release into the floor. Allow the pelvis to become nice and weighty into the ground. So you've got a sense that the tailbone can really release away from you. Nice and long through the spine. And then take a few nice gentle breaths as you connect into those core muscles. Strengthening in through the pelvic floor. Feel that the belly's not relaxing into the ground, but there's a sense of it drawing away from the floor. Now, from here we'll take a breath. We'll let the head lift. Eyes look at the ground. And then we rotate the head and rest back down onto the floor. Deep breath in. We lift the head. Look to the floor and rotate the head around the other way. Let's keep that going. Little lift, rotation through the neck and resting gently down. Let's keep that going. Now, if you want a little bit more, we can start to allow ourselves to bring a little bit more upper length into this. So a bit more extension through the upper spine. Keep the belly button squeezing, keep those core muscles engaging. And then if we can, we'll allow the arms to just hover an inch or so away from the floor. We lift, shoulders can glide down the back. Breathing in as we float back down. One more on each side. Last one. and release in there. Well done. Let's bring our hands on top of one another and we'll rest the forehead onto the hands. So if we've got that position where we're resting down, our head onto our forehead onto our hands, we're going to allow ourselves, if you prefer to put a cushion underneath your forehead, that's fine. So I'm going to just lift my head up while I'm talking to you, but I want you to be in that lying position or on hands and knees if that works better for you. So we squeeze in through the tummy, we're breathing out, we're going to stretch through the right leg, a little squeeze in the right buttock, breathing in as we float the leg back down, changing over to the other side, stretching the leg away, breathing in as the leg returns. Good. Keep that going for me, guys. I'm just checking in to see if there's anybody got any questions for me. No, we're all good. I don't think there's anyone on Facebook asking me questions, but to be fair, I can't really see. I think Facebook Livers, you'll need to ask me the questions at the end, if that's all right. So one more on each side, guys. Stretching, feel that connection through the bottom as we stretch away. Breathe in as we float the leg back down. Changing over to the other side, stretching away, lengthening. Breathing in as the leg floats back down. Finishing there, rolling onto your side, whichever side's best for you so that you can come to see me. Good. So once we're there, we'll allow ourselves to be lengthened in a really nice long line. We can look down and see our toes so they're not pinging behind us, and we're in a really nice lengthened position. Head rests down onto that bottom arm. Shoulders are on top of one another, hips are on top of one another, and let's start by stretching the top leg away. So as we stretch that top leg away, we've got a real sense that we're being extended from our ribs to our hips. Take a nice deep breath. Let's allow that bottom leg to stretch and energise. Find a little lift, find a sense of extension and reach also. So it's as though both our feet are reaching for the wall at the side of the room. This top hand might be resting on the floor. We're going to see if we can let it rest by our side. Once we're there, let's lift that shoulder up towards the ear and then we'll glide the shoulder back and down. And we'll do that once more. Lifting the shoulder up, gliding back and down. So with the shoulder gliding down the back, let's keep these legs where they are. Let's keep that core connection. Take a breath, let the arm lift up and over. Now see if you can keep the space between your shoulder and your ear. So it's not gliding up towards the ear, but there's a sense of space. Lovely. Just one more. This time, if you feel ready to, we'll keep that reach going. The top arm's going to keep reaching, reach, and we'll see if there's a little lift underneath our armpit. Yeah, nice, Gwen, good. And up and over. Just two more like that. But we don't need to do the lift if that doesn't feel like that's working for us. Check we've got that really nice connection in through the tummy. Beautiful. And we'll float the legs down from there. Soften in through the knees. With a nice squeeze in the tummy, you're going to tip the top hip slightly forwards. Keep that connection in place. Take a deep breath and allow the top knee to lift. And lower. And we lift. And lower. Let's take 3 more like that. Good, good. Keeping that squeeze in the tummy. Now let's glue our knees together. Let's allow the feet to lift. So both toes lift. Then we'll allow the top knee to lift. And then we'll stretch the leg away. Draw the toe in. Knees draw in. Toes float down. Let's do that 4 more times. Toe lift, knee lift, extend away, draw in, and down, and down. We've got 3 more. Lovely. So that nice strong connection through the tummy. We get the toes just high enough that we can stabilize them there. Last one. Knee lifts, extend away. Drawing that leg back in, float the knees back down and soften back down. Let's take hold of that top foot. So we'll take a little stretch into the front of the thigh. If you can't grab hold of your foot, then you can always use a band or a belt or something to just strap around the ankle, and that'll give you that range of movement. And then we get that nice stretch down the front of the thigh, releasing into the hips a little. Take some nice gentle breaths there. Lovely. And last one, releasing the legs down. If you want to pop a cushion underneath your head, now's a good time to do it. That's it. Arms come forwards, head rests down. We take a nice deep breath in and let the top arm gently open. So this is the one where in class we often end up tickling each other's toes. So if you find that now you're in a room that's not actually big enough to open the arms all the way out, by all means just take a little bend of the elbow and we'll still get a nice sense of rotation through the rib cage. Good, last one there. Just coming up onto that elbow for me. So we'll allow the elbow to come underneath the shoulder. We'll allow the hips to come on top of one another and we'll line ourselves up. So we've got the toes in line with the pelvis, which is then in line with the elbow. Unless you want a more challenging option, in which case the knees can be in line with the pelvis, or you can allow the legs to fully lengthen. So main thing is here, we want to lift through the rib cage. We want there to be loads of space underneath us, as if there were a balloon inflating underneath our rib cage. And that allows us to really drop that shoulder down the back. Yes, Gwen, nice. Shoulders gliding down, strengthening through the core. We'll allow that top arm to lift up. And breathe in as we float back down. Yeah, good. And if you want to add the pelvis, really looking to find that sense of space around between the ear and the shoulder. So if you're finding you've got this kind of, this is really hard work, just work on lifting up and don't worry about the up and over, don't worry about the pelvis, but making sure that you've got that sense of space. Otherwise our shoulders are going to not like us by the end, which is not what we want. This is number 5, I think. And floating back down. Coming back onto a seated position, we'll take the legs wide and take a little stretch into the inner thighs. Ooh, letting the shoulders glide down the back. I know this isn't a position that works well for everybody. If you prefer the diamond position, go for that instead. We're lifting nice and tall. Now I can just about see the tops of some of your heads now, which means that as we lean forward, thanks Leslie, as we lean forwards, I should lose sight of you completely. Again. Yeah, nice, loving your work. Shoulders gliding down. So the shoulders glide down the back and we're just going to allow ourselves to find that length. So although I do want your chest to be lowering towards the floor, really I want there to be a sense of length into the inner thighs. And just take a few nice deep breaths. If you're feeling as though this is making an uncomfortable feeling in the lower back, come to sit upright and then I'm sure you'll still get a nice sense of stretch into the inner thigh. That's it, Caroline. You've completely disappeared on me now. It's marvellous work. Yay! Lifting up nice and tall. Now, we can bring the legs in a little bit closer as we find our spine twists. If you find that once you bring the legs in, you're being pulled backwards, so if there's still a sort of backwards pull, by all means bend at the knees. Sometimes that helps. For some of us, it's with the feet together and the knees going wide. Work out which one's for you. If you prefer to be on your knees, go for that option instead. But it's somewhere where the spine can really lengthen. Good. Drawing the fingertips together, let the shoulders glide down the back. Take a nice deep breath, strengthen, lift up through those core muscles, shoulders melting down, nice deep breath, and we'll allow ourselves to gently rotate round. And we'll breathe in as we return back to the centre, and then rotating round to the opposite side. Breath in as we return back to the centre. Beautiful. Yeah, let's keep that going. So we're really grounded through the pelvis. Notice if as you rotate, there's more rotation on one side than the other. Let's see if we can focus in on the smaller range of movement. So we're not pushing further on one side than the other. We're looking to stay really symmetrical. And then if you feel you're happy to, the elbows can go wide. And we can allow the fingers to point upwards. I like this position because I imagine that I am a picture in the middle of a picture frame, and I'm not allowing my picture to go on like a side angle. I've got to be looking out from my picture at all times. So therefore my frame should stay in my peripheral vision at all times. As you get to the extent of your rotation, notice if your pelvis wants to do any little shifting. See if you can stay really grounded. Use those core muscles to stabilise you there. We'll finish off on that second side. And then as we release the arms down, let's draw the legs back together. Lengthening the legs out in front of us, and we'll just take a little release over. Shoulders glide down the back. Head extends out and away. And we can allow the tailbone to stretch behind us. So we're looking to allow the tailbone to be lengthening behind us. Chest extends forwards. And we'll just take a few breaths there, seeing if our hamstrings are allowing us to give a little. And then taking a deep breath, lengthening nice and tall. Let's come on to our other elbow. So we'll allow the elbow to come underneath our shoulder. We'll allow the shoulders to glide down the back, lining yourself up in the same way as you did before. So if you were feet in line with pelvis before, let's do that again here. So again, once you're there, really thinking rib cage lifts. As the rib cage lifts, the shoulder glides down the back, and it's always worth taking a little check to make sure the elbow's underneath the shoulder, it's not further away. That makes it really hard. So both shoulders are gliding down the back, and we're feeling really lengthened. I'm going to use the word poised. Taking a deep breath in, rib cage lifts, the arm lifts up and over. And if you want to lift into the pelvis as well, that's a marvellous thing. Floating gently down. Good. Lovely. Keep that going for me. Now, shoulder glides down the back. Notice if that shoulder starts to feel uncomfortable, if it's starting to scrunch down. We want to keep that sense of space. Good. We've got two more. Last one. And release in there. Let's allow ourselves to lengthen all the way down. Head rests down, and we're making sure that we're lengthening in a nice long line. Toes are, we can just about see our toes, so we've definitely not got the legs swinging behind us. Once again, lengthening as long as we possibly can be. Top leg stretches away. Take a breath, bottom leg stretches away. Nice and deep with the breath. Keeping that top leg reaching, let's allow this top shoulder to lift up. Roll back and down. And again, top shoulder lifts, rolls back and down. Taking that once more. Shoulder glides back and down. Keep the shoulder gliding down the back. And as you do, just take a moment to really pull that top hip away from you. So you're really looking for that sense of space. Top arm lifts up and over. Lovely. And then coming back. So we're keeping that sense of balance, keeping the legs lengthening and reaching. If there's any twinging in the lower back, or if the neck feels uncomfortable and you need to rest the bottom leg on the floor, that's fine. Nice and deep with the breath. Now this time, if you feel ready to, the fingertips keep reaching, we take a little lift. And we're softening down, beautiful. And again, the arm lifts up and over. Coming up by our side, and we take that extension. Good, just 2 more like that. And last one. And softening down, we'll float the legs down, we'll soften in through the knees. Let that top hip tip forwards with that slight angle on the hip. So we're scooping in through the tummy, lock into the pelvis, allow that pelvis, that hip to stay really nice and still. Deep breath, top hip lifts and lowers. That's the top knee, isn't it? Sorry guys. Top knee lifts and lowers, keeping the hip nice and still. Strengthening through the core muscles. This time, gluing the knees together, we'll allow the feet to lift. Top knee lifts, make that diamond shape, and then keeping the bottom leg still, stretch the top leg away. Draw the leg in, lower the knee, lower the toes. Again, strength through the core. Toes lift, knee lifts, toe extends away. Draw the toes together, make that diamond shape, knee comes down, feet come down. Again, we lift. Lift, extend, and lower, and lower. I believe this is our last one. Come on up. Lift, lift, and softening back down. Give it a rub or a bash if it needs a bash. And then let's take hold of that top foot. Bringing the foot nice and close to the bottom, stretching the knee away. Just enjoying that sense of stretch across the front of the hip and the front of the thigh. Lovely. And from there, releasing the legs. Pop the cushion underneath your head if you've got a cushion. Let the head rest down onto the floor. We'll take a nice deep breath from there, and then the top arm gently opens. Eyes are fixed on the hand. We'll breathe in as the arm returns. And keeping that going. Good, last one. Allow yourself to come onto your backs. And allow the feet to come onto the floor, let the knees bend. Just taking a moment to allow yourself to release down into the ground. Let the head become nice and heavy as it gently rolls from side to side. Lovely. So we've got our feet just hip distance apart so that the feet, knees and hips run in parallel lines to one another. We've got the pelvis resting nice and heavy into the floor. The rib cage is resting down into the ground. Let's allow the head to gently roll from side to side and then bring the head into the centre, and we'll tuck the chin in slightly. Now, let's allow ourselves to focus in on that pelvis. So we'll imagine that the pelvis is a bowl of water. I want you to roll some of that water into your belly button, then round to one hip bone, round to the pubic bone, and round to the other hip bone. Let's do that nice big circle there. And then let's take that circle in the opposite direction. And then we'll find that place where hip bones, pubic bone are all level with one another. Then take a moment to just feel that the rib cage can really soften down into the ground. We've got that sense of strength through the core muscles, drawing in through the pelvic floor. Take a deep breath, let the right leg stretch away, let the left arm lengthen up and over the head. Drawing the arm and the leg back in, changing over to the opposite side. Extend opposite arm to leg away. Breath in as the arm and the leg return. So we're changing arm and leg each time. And then let's add on our little knee openers from here. So we'll extend the leg and the arm away. We'll breathe in, and then as we come back to our base position, that knee will open out to the side. And then drawing the leg back to the centre. Changing over to the other side. Opposite arm to leg extends away. We draw the arm and the leg back in. That knee opens out to the side. Lovely. So as you take those knee openers, it's really important that we get that sense of being stable through the pelvis. So you're not going to let your water tip over your right hip as the knee opens out to the side. As you feel the hips start to tip, you draw the pelvis back in. If you want to, we'll add the arms in, so the arms can lift up towards the sky. As the knee opens, the opposite arm opens. Breathing in as the arm returns, and then letting the arms float back down by our sides. Now keep that going for me. If you want to, you can allow the leg to lift so the knee is hovering above the hip socket, knee opens out to the side. Draw the leg back in and float the arm and the leg back down. Notice if as you do that, your opposite knee starts to open out at the same time. Try not to let the opposite knee, the one that's meant to be stabilising, do any rocking around for you. It's not counterbalancing. And then if you want to from here, you could work in your full 100 position. So you could press the lower back into the floor, allow both knees to be lifted. You can stretch one leg away, draw the arms and the leg back in, knee opens out to the side, and we're coming back into the centre. So remember, if you find once you've got two legs lifted, there's a strain in your lower back, I don't want you to work with the two legs lifted. If you find that your tummy's doming upwards when you've got two legs lifted, I'd rather you work with one leg lifted than two. Some of you know, I've already told you for one reason or another, that we'd rather be working with one leg lifted than two. You know who you are and you know why that is, so work to the exercise that works for you. Let's finish off on the left side. Now, let's keep the arms reaching up towards the sky. We'll allow the feet to rest down onto the floor. Shoulders melting down into the ground. Take a deep breath for me and then just gently circle the arms as if you're drawing little circles on the ceiling. You've got a natural curve in the lower back. Shoulders are sinking down into the ground. Keep that going for me, Margaret. And allowing the arms to gently circle. Now, options for the legs are, we can work with one leg lifted, We can stretch the leg away as the arms open out, and then we can draw the arms back in as the leg returns. We can do 5 on this side and then change over to the other leg. If you'd like to, you can lift both legs, imprinting the spine. As the arms open out, you can change the leg that's stretching away from you. How's that going? Good, lovely. When you've done 5 on the first side, or if you're working with alternate legs, we're going to allow ourselves to change the direction of the circle, which I always find feels a little bit quirky because you're kind of happy going with the way that you naturally go. Really zone in for me on keeping that rib cage sinking down into the ground. Keep the shoulder blades sinking into the floor. Nice and deep with the breath. And when you've finished off 5 on that second side, draw the knees in towards the chest and give them a good hug. Lovely. Let's take a little hamstring stretch from here. So we'll allow the left foot to rest onto the floor. Lengthen the right arm up towards the sky. If you can hold on to the thigh, it's a marvellous thing. If you can hold on to the calf, it's a marvellous thing. We'll try to avoid the knee joint. If you've got a band that you'd rather use, we can wrap the band around our foot, and then we don't need to struggle to reach the leg. Good, so you can use a dressing gown belt or a scarf, they're all good. Or an inner tube to a bike, as Margaret suggested once. Shoulders melting down into the ground. And once again, when you're here, just take a moment to let your head just roll gently from side to side. Sometimes we get into these hamstring stretches and the tension comes all the way up through the shoulders and up into the neck. So then we'll just allow the chin to be tucked in slightly. Take a breath, let that leg come slightly across the midline of the body. Oh, lovely job. And then just gently out to the side. And then drawing that leg back into the centre. Take that foot across the left knee and allow the right knee to gently open out to the side. And then if you can, we'll weave the hands around the left thigh and gently ease the legs in close towards us. And then changing legs. Allow that right foot to rest down onto the floor. We'll lengthen the left leg up towards the sky. Breath is nice and deep there. And again, encouraging that leg to fully lengthen. Let the shoulders glide gently down the back. Just taking a nice moment to stretch the tailbone away from you, so feel as though the tailbone is stretching towards your heel, the heel that's the foot that's resting on the floor. Nice and gentle with the breath there. And again, just roll the head gently from side to side to see how it feels. You might find that there's a bit of tension through the neck. You might find all the tension in the back of the leg, and that's all good too. And then we'll allow the head to come into the centre, just tucking the chin in slightly. Take a breath, see if you can bring that leg slightly across the midline of the body. So it changes the emphasis to the outside of the leg. Finding that sense of strength in the core as you just encourage that leg to softly come across you, easing it across and just letting it do its thing, letting it stay there and melt down, melt the tension away. And then again, let's take that left foot across the right knee and make that nice triangular shape with the left leg. If you feel you can do, weaving the hands around the right thigh and ease the leg in close to us. Easing into that stretch. Nice and deep with the breath. And we're going to take our scissor action from here. We're going to explore our two-legged 100 position, which again isn't for everybody, so we'll have a little play with it. Let's allow ourselves to hug both the knees in. So untie yourselves and allow both the knees to hug in close to the chest. Now, from there, I want you to scoop in through the tummy. I want you to connect in through those core muscles, pelvic floor engages, and I want you to allow yourself to just see if you can keep the knees as close to you as you can and allow the arms to rest down by your sides. From there, we're going to explore how far away from us our legs can go whilst maintaining this integrity in the back and in the core. So we'll start to think about pulling the legs away from us. We'll aim to get to a place where the knees are just above the hip socket and the calf is at a 90-degree angle. Now, if you get to a point where the tummy suddenly pops upwards, that's your struggle place, so work just before there. If you know that as soon as you've let go of the hands, the tummy's popping upwards, there's that bulge in place, work with one leg lifted instead of two. So our scissor action, the angle of our knee is going to stay exactly as it is right now. The angle of our hip is going to get bigger. So we take a deep breath, we dip the toe down, we breathe in as the leg lifts. If you're working with two legs lifted, we'll change legs each time. If you're working with one leg lifted, we'll do 5 on this side and then change sides. Now, those of us that are thinking, well, this is easy, Emma, it's marvellous. We'll allow the angle of the knee to open up a little more. So that angle of the knee is going to stay open all the way down and all the way up. That's it, nice. We lift. We lower. We lift. We've got strength through the core. The back isn't pulling up and away from the floor. It's staying sinking down into the ground. If you're working with one leg lifted, you are in neutral spine though, and you're keeping that neutral position, keeping it nice and stable. Those of us that are working with two legs lifted, let's make it a scissor action. So as one leg lowers, the other one lifts. All of a sudden, we absolutely look like a pair of scissors. There it is. Check you've got that core drawing in. We're not doming into the tummy. Loving your work. And finishing off there, bring the knees in towards the chest. Now, we're going to take a little roll up to sit in. And then we're going to have a little play around with our rolling like a ball and our C shape exercise. So we'll pull the head up towards the knees and we'll start rocking forwards and backwards, building the momentum. Now, you might find that your back doesn't like this rocking and rolling. If there's any osteoporosis, we might not do that. Good. Once we're there, we're lengthening nice and tall. We're going to allow the shoulders to glide down the back and the feet will be just hip distance apart. Shoulders sinking down, lengthening nice and tall through the spine. So we'll take a nice deep breath there. We're squeezing in through the tummy. Tilt the tailbone under, tip the tailbone and take that nice curved shape into the spine. And then we'll lengthen up nice and tall. And again, scooping in through the tummy, tilt the tailbone under. And then we're lengthening up nice and tall. Now the arms can lengthen out in front of us if we don't need to hold on to the legs anymore. And if you feel like a rolling like a ball is good for you and you love that sense of really opening up through the spine with that core work, then we'll add them in. So we'll take a roll down through the spine and then we'll lengthen on up. We'll grab hold of the toes. We'll take that sort of ball shape through the spine. We'll rock back and we'll lift up tall. Take a moment to be poised and then place the feet down, lengthening nice and tall. Tuck in under, tilt the tailbone under, rolling through the spine. I'm loving that I'm using the word poised a lot in this class. Lifting nice and tall, toes lift. We can take our rolling like a ball. If you think rolling like a ball is not for you, by all means just stay here and be poised and balanced. And then the feet float down. We lengthen nice and tall, curling in. Shoulders are aiming to glide down the back. Lengthening up nice and tall. Hands come onto the shins. Rocking back if you're happy to. Toes hover. Let's do that once more through. Tipping the tailbone under, curving through the lower back. Shoulders gliding down the back. We lengthen up nice and tall. Good, last one, rolling like a ball if you're happy to. Toes hover just an inch away from the floor. Let's breathe nice and gently there. Now we've got the shoulders gliding down, we're lifting really nice and tall. Let's see if we can stretch one leg out in front of us really high. And we'll draw that leg back in. Other leg lengthens away, really high. Floating back in. Now let's do it, guys, let's do it. Shoulders glide down the back, both toes lift, lift, lift. I love it, Lindsay, you were with me. Woohoo! Yes. And can we let go? We're reaching, we're reaching, we're reaching. And release, well done. Coming onto hands and knees, tucking the toes under. We'll bring ourselves up to standing. Just take a moment on the balls of the feet to just ease into that stretch and then come up to standing in a way that works for you. Taking your time to come up so we don't rush because we've been on the floor for a long time. Lovely. So when we get there, we'll just lift the shoulders. And we'll roll the shoulders gently back and down. Let's do that twice more. Just one more. Gorgeous. Let's take a deep breath in, reaching really tall. And breathing out, and we'll let it all go. Give it a good shake out. Well done, guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. If there's any questions or feedback, guys, do stop and have a chat with me. Those of you on Zoom, those of you that are on Facebook Live, if there's any questions, do forward them on to me. Send me a message.